Hi, everybody. Welcome to our call tonight. Thank you for getting on or for watching the replay for those who are watching the replay. So if you need to mute yourself, feel free to, and then you can unmute if you have any questions. So tonight we're going to talk about, I have a new customer, now what? And I made a post in the group, which I'll link into the replay, the comments of the replay when I do the replay of this, with some tips about what I talk to customers about and some different charts that I send them. So I'm going to talk about that in this call, and I will link that to the replay post. But so when I get a new customer, first, before they order, I always encourage preferred or wholesale ambassador over retail. It's better for you. It's better for the customer because they are getting the better price. They're going to get their products so that they're not running out. They have I always let them know they have complete control over that convenience order where they can go log in, change the date, change the products, cancel without any penalty. And, they don't have to call in and talk to somebody that's going to try to talk them out of it or anything like that. So, so most of my people do order preferred or do wholesale ambassador. And so what I do is once they have ordered, I try to actually get them on a phone call. So if you are a newer ambassador and you don't feel as comfortable talking to them, or you're not quite sure exactly what to say, then get like your first one or two customers, first few customers on the call with you and your closest upline who's actively working the business. So on here, I know we've got a couple of my level ones. So of course, if you are a newer ambassador and you're direct to me, I would happily get on a phone call with your first couple of customers to help you hear what I talk to customers about. Melissa's team has Melissa and Alyssa and Carrie and Kelly all actively work in the business. So talk to them and if you can get them on a call, that's the best thing. But I also send them an email, and I usually ask them, is email or Facebook Messenger better? Most of mine end up saying email, but whatever works best for them. So I get them on the call, and I give them some tips, and it's all in that one post. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things, but in that post that I'll reference in the replay goes over all of this stuff. But the most important thing is water. Shooting for half their body weight ounces in water. If someone's 150 pounds, they should shoot for 75 ounces of water throughout the day. If they're 200 pounds, 100 ounces of water. If somebody is more than 200 pounds and would need more than 100 ounces, I always tell them to shoot for that 100 ounces at first, spread out throughout the day, and then work up from there. So water is key. It's key to your body. Your body needs it. It needs hydration. It needs it to function properly. It helps plexus to work better. So water is key. Cutting out artificial sweeteners, especially starting to work on cutting out sodas, which a lot of people notice from the get-go that they just don't want the soda. They don't love the soda. But I was watching a Diamond ambassador talk about this. If they feel like they really want or need one, it's not going to hurt them to have one when they're first starting out before they're really getting into their water. Of course, it's better if they don't, but have them, if they are big soda drinkers, notice how much they're not craving it, how much they're not drinking it at first. And over time, everybody I know has just not wanted it at all. But so talking to them about the water, the artificial sweeteners, and then some different tips. Like I was just talking to one of my customers about the Slim mixing better in warm water. If they put it in a cold bottle, they're going to need to shake it up, let it sit for a few minutes, shake it again, and then it will completely dissolve. If not, you have clumps in it. I put it in a Tervis cup with a little bit of warm water, mix it up, that completely mixes it, add my freezing cold water, and I'm good to go. So, but or use a shaker cup, can also help with that. And then I talk to them about expectations. We know that they hear about all the positive things that happen, sleeping better, feeling better, helping with sugar cravings and feeling full faster, and so many different things, that the natural energy. But I let them know that not everybody notices that on day one, and to let them know that it can take time. For me, I did not notice that for several weeks, and some people it can take a couple of months. And we really want them to give it at least that 60 days, 90 days would be, or more would be ideal, because some people, their bodies just need more time. And let them know the expectation that they aren't going to, they may not see all of those they're not going to see all of them right away. For me, it took a while for me to notice this. It was a year later when I noticed the sleep. I'm sure it was before then, but so I give them tips, the water, how to take their Slim, expectations, and then I let them know I'm going to send them an email with all the things we've talked about, which again is in that post I talked about. If they are taking the triplex, I send them the triplex chart, which is slowly introducing each of the products. And if they're looking for weight loss, I send them the measurement chart. And I encourage them to stay off the scale for the first month, at least the first week, because a lot of people want to do it daily. And if they're not somebody who's used to getting on the scale and knowing how much it fluctuates every day, even when you're not trying to lose weight, they can get frustrated by that scale. And the scale is not the best representation, because so many things affect it. The sodium that you ate, the food you ate, a day or two before, even the humidity affects the water retention that you have in your body. And so there's so much that affects. So that's why we encourage that measurement. So number one, get them on the phone. Number two, send them an email. I don't get everybody on the phone, but I try to. And then I was listening to Emily Roberts, and that's where I got a lot of these ideas. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that she suggested that I haven't done all of them, but it's something that I'm going to start incorporating. So I wanted to tell you guys about it also. The other thing, so getting them on a phone, sending them that email, telling them when you talk to them and in that email, when they get their products, to let you know when their products get to them. But you can also, in case you don't know this, you can go into your back office and you can track their package so you know when they get it or when it's supposed to get to them. So if they don't tell you, because more than 50% of my people, even though I tell them to tell me, don't tell me when they get their products. But if you go in, you can go to your customer report, click their name, and then it's going to pop up with their if they have a tracking number yet already, then you can click on the tracking number. And that'll be there within a couple of days. And then the tracking number tells you the estimated date. It's usually pretty accurate. At that point, it's all on the post office. But it's usually pretty accurate. Sometimes they'll get there a little before or after. But that way you can check in with them and say, hey, if they didn't tell you, hey, I saw you got your products today. Are you going to get started tomorrow? So having them tell you when they got them. So those are the things that I always do, and then follow up. So how I follow up is when they first get their products, check in, make sure they don't have any questions that we've already talked about through the things in the email, see when they're getting started so I know when to follow up. So what I do is I try to follow up a couple of days into it, 2 to 4 days after they've started, and just ask them how it's going, how they're loving it, and if they've seen any of the positive side effects yet. One thing I like to do, since we've been doing these 7-day challenge and we have that scale of 1 to 10 of tell me, 0 to 10, or is it 1 to 10, how I'd have to look up the scale because I can think of it off the top of my head, but how well they, if they sleep well, they do on a 1 to 10, they do their pain, sugar cravings, hunger control, and there's one other thing. But that scale's really good to have them do before they get started. And then you can check again a week in, a month in, because sometimes if you haven't done that, they might not notice the little things. That's what I notice when people do the 7-day challenges, is more people notice the little things because we're really having them hone in on those details. So if you can get them to or talk them through the scale when you're talking to them on the phone. So the few days in, ask them how they're loving it and word it in that way. Like you want to say it in a positive way. How are things going? How are you loving your products? And ask them if they've noticed any of the positive side effects. And you can list some of the things that people notice, but let them know if they haven't yet that not everybody does. And then I try to follow up about a week later, see how they're doing. And then about 3 weeks after they've started the products. And of course, I tell them, I'm going to check in with you, but if I haven't checked in with you and you have any questions or you have any great side effects that you want to tell me about, I love hearing those. Please message me, call me, text me anytime. I'm here for you. You know, I say that over and over. Don't ever feel like you're a bother if you have questions. And then I check in with them about 3 weeks after they've started to see how they're doing. Remind them that their convenience order, if they're a preferred customer, is going to be going through. Make sure that they have it set up exactly how they want to. They will get a reminder from the company, but I like to check in with them myself. And then if they were a retail customer, that would be about the time that they would want to reorder. And of course, you'd want to talk them through why they'd want to order as a preferred customer so they don't run out, so they're getting their products cheaper, or as a wholesale ambassador. As a preferred customer on that 3 weeks in, if they're loving it, then I'm going to talk to them about the wholesale ambassador piece. And, you know, try to talk to them about signing up as an ambassador to get their products at wholesale, and let them know there's no minimum they have to sell. They don't have to share. And that that if they had 3 friends who did order, say they were getting the triplex, they had 3 friends who ordered as a preferred customer under them, if they were an ambassador, the triplex, they had customers that were in the triplex, that they would make enough to cover their product. So that's kind of how I follow up. And then I follow up at least once a month after that. Kind of depends on the person. If they're going through some things that we're trying to work through, I'll do a little bit more. So so those are the things that I have been doing. And there's a couple of other things that I got ideas from Emily Roberts that I wanted to share with you guys, that some of them I'm going to incorporate. So she had 4 steps that she said. One of hers was water, which we already talked about, but she was just saying, make sure that they know water, staying consistent with the products, which is another piece that you would want to talk to them about, and just how important water is. So she tells them water is key for everyday nutrients, hydration, mood, help suppress hunger. And this is really important to let them know that oftentimes people confuse thirst for hunger. And a lot of times when somebody thinks they're hungry, if they drink 8 ounces of water and give it 15 minutes, they will realize that they're really not hungry and they're really thirsty. And dehydration and thirst can actually, your body, people get confused because they give some similar not symptoms, but their body reacts similarly. So you feel like you're hungry even though you're really thirsty. So letting them know that water is key for that, so that they're not overeating. They might just need water. Number 2, she talked about setting up expectations, which I talked about. The other thing that I completely forgot to talk about, when you're on the phone with them, you want to, during that expectation, when you're telling them some of the positive things, but to let them know that they're not going to see them all right away. Everybody's different. They might see them the first day. They might see them the first week. They might see it 3 weeks in. They might see it 3 months in. But also, I like to tell my people about detoxing in Candida die-off if they're taking the triplex. And I tell them, don't let it scare you. It means the products are working, but I want you to know that if you have anything that could be detoxing, which Candida die-off is very similar, and I give them some ideas, and I tell them, not everybody has this, but I want you to know that it's possible because the products are working. They're helping get toxins out of your body, which is what we want in the end for our health, for our weight loss. But I give them some different things that could be detoxing: headaches, feeling nauseous, trying to think of some other things off the top of my head. I know itchy skin is one for Candida die-off, even yeast infections. And there's actually 2 really good articles that I'm pretty sure I have in that post, one on detoxing, one on Candida die-off symptoms, that I send my people after I talk to them. So I don't send it until I've talked to them, and then I tell them, I'm going to send you a couple articles. So if you have any of that, or if you're somebody who likes to read up and know things beforehand, that they have those articles. And I believe those are in that post. I'm going to link to the replay. If not, I'll put them in there. So her two tips that I really liked, that I didn't talk about and that I don't already do, is she puts a reminder on her phone, and every day she actually texts her new customers. And I don't know how long she does this. My thought would be like for the first week, because you want them to be consistent. And when they're first starting out, not everybody's consistently taking the products every day. Not everybody is remembering to take their products every day. So she sets a reminder on her phone. She goes to her calendar. She adds a new daily reminder or event, I guess is what it would be called. And she just puts the person's name and she writes product reminder. And she just sends them a text in the morning, like she says between 8:30 and 10. She sends out several of them. And she just says, hey, this is your product reminder today. Have a great day. And she said, how great is it for them to know that you're thinking of them, that you're not just another sale, that you're thinking about them, and then you're reminding them to take their products. I would probably also remind them about water, or ask them how they did with their water the day before, or something like that. So I really like that. I want to start incorporating that myself. And then the other thing that she does is when they tell her that they got their products, she says to them, she asks them to take a picture of their products or take a selfie of their products and just make a quick post that says, I'm so excited. Thank you, Christina, or thank you in your name, and tag you in the post. And that's it. It's just a picture of the products or a selfie with them in the products that says, I'm so excited. Thank you. And to their ambassador. And she said, this gives you an idea. Some people aren't going to want to do that because they want to do it on, without other people knowing it first. And then some people decide, oh, I need to tell everybody. But some people want to be what we call silent pink drinkers, and they're not going to want to do that. But this gives you an idea of people that are ready to share. And if they decide not to sign up as an ambassador and share, then you've got a whole new network of people that are going to hear about Plexus just from them making that one post. And they might have some people that comment on it. And that's why we do that for our 7-day challenges, where we have people post on their wall and tag their ambassador, because then they start to see, oh, I've got a couple friends asking me about that. And it makes them think a little bit more about the ambassador piece. So it makes them, you see who's ready to share. It makes them maybe think, oh, I've got a couple people asking about it. Or you've got new people and a new network that may be interested, even if they're not interested in sharing. So you've got new people that you're planting the seeds for. So that was really everything that I wanted to talk about. Getting them on the phone, emailing them, talking about the tips, the consistency, the water, all of that's in that post that I talked about. Setting expectations, talking through the detoxing and Candida die-off, letting them know that you're there for them. Let them know, have them let you know when they get their products. And then those other couple of things that Emily talked about, posting a picture, tagging you if they're willing to do that, and texting them every day as a reminder. Do you guys have either any questions or anything that you have done with customers that you think really works really well, or any other questions or thoughts about that?
I don't think so. I did have a question, but I can't remember what it is. I really have no idea. So I'll think of it when we get off the.
Okay, then send me your message. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. So thank you all for getting on.